All right, here we are. First day of practice is wrapping up here on Lake Lanier for stop number 3 of the FLW Tour, which is presented by Ranger. We found ourselves David Nichol, who lives in Gainesville, which is on Lake Lanier. You've won a few BFLs here before, so why not start talking with a guy that probably knows the most about this lake ever? Thanks for joining us, man.
I want to know who told you guys how it was, is what I want to know.
We got our ways. We got our ways.
These guys are slick. Y'all are slick. Come on with it.
But I guess first off, obviously we're not in Florida. Very different lake here on Lanier.
Thank goodness.
It's been a minute since the tour has been here. Kind of fill us in on just where the lake is right now, beginning of March.
All right, lake's full. Near as I can tell, or close to it. It's very, very close to full. And it has steady risen over the last 2-3 weeks. Fishing totally different than any of us local guys expected, or for me anyway. Didn't expect a full lake. And so I feel like this tournament is definitely in favor of the out-of-towners for a change. Lanier is notorious for favoring the locals, but with all this flooded grass, this one's leaning towards the out-of-towners, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, now I did see, when guys were up here pre-practicing before Harris, I saw a lot of pictures of like chocolate milk water. Now looking back behind us here, this water looks pretty good. Is the lake dirty in certain spots of the lake? Is it just a section of the lake? How's that layout?
You can find dirty water. That's what's going to be so cool about this tournament. You can find the dirty water so many of these guys want. Lanier clears up quick. A lot of the water that was stained, this creek here was stained not too long ago at all. It'll clear up quick. But if the guys want dirty water, they can find it. And I think some more rain's coming. That's gonna allow the dirty water to hold.
All right.
But at the same time, I think main lake's going to stay clear. It usually stays clear.
All right. Now, obviously, Lanier has some pretty large spotted bass in it.
Huge spot.
How big a factor are those spotted bass going to be this week?
They're going to be a big factor this week. The spots are staging and coming, and but I don't know. These guys coming in town are such incredible largemouth fishermen. I mean, they fish the bank, and the largemouth are hitting the banks. Spots are coming. They're not there. Well, some are there, but it's a crazy. I mean, this is like what, March 2nd? Mm-hmm. March 2nd, and I mean, I feel like we're way ahead of where we normally are. And so, you know, there's fish on the bank.
And it was pretty warm down here for a while before this, right? Did that help things at all?
Of course, yeah. That water. I mean, there's 60-degree water to be found around here. You know, so March 2nd. In Lake Lanier, that's kind of unheard of.
Yeah. Well, I guess the main thing that's going to become a big factor this week is there's bluebacks in here, and we know that bluebacks make bass turn into these weird wild creatures. Is a blueback bite going to be a big factor this week, or does that start to taper off when you get in the spring? Okay.
Always. You know, these spots that we're so notorious for having here, they're herring fed, and the spots right now, the spots I caught today, they're deformed looking. They really are. They are deformed. They're full of roe. They're full of herring. They follow the herring, and where there's herring, there's spots, and that's why they're constantly moving. But they're gonna pin down here pretty soon because they have to spawn, because they're about to pop.
Well, I don't want to bug you too much more, so the final thing I want to ask you, and I normally don't do this on the first interview, but I want to know a winning weight from you. I want to know what you think in your mind it's going to take to win this derby.
You know, I think if somebody can catch 16, 17 pounds a day, 4 days in a row, I think they're going to be right there. So what's that? 16, 64 pounds if it's 16. Yeah. So I'm saying I'm probably right around 60 pounds. I mean, the fish are biting.
Well,
you know, there was tournaments yesterday. My team tournament partner fished, and he had 21 pounds and got second place. And those were spotted bass.
Well, I think we're fixing to see a pretty good tournament this week. I appreciate you taking time to stop and chat with us. We'll let you get rolling because we're blocking the boat ramp line. Hey, good luck this week, man.
Thank you.
All right, we are here with the reigning Angler of the Year, Bryan Thrift. Bryan, we're out of Florida. We're done with that now.
Done with Florida.
Yeah, we're closer to home for you. And it's probably got to be at least something that you're a little excited about getting out and fishing, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I've only been to Lanier twice, and that was in the summertime for when the Cup was here, and I'm looking forward to being here, you know, this time of year, pre-spawn, and just ready to get out there and look for 2 more days. I didn't find what I was wanting to find today. I never found a group of fish. I had a few bites and caught 1 or 2 decent ones, but I never found a place that I could call home where I felt like it was one here, one there, stuff like that.
Well, I guess before we get too far into things, I do kind of want to know, I rode around on the lake today, kind of on this middle section of the lake, I guess we could call it. Saw some water temps like mid 50s, plus or minus a little bit. What about yourself?
Yeah, that's the same I was seeing, like 52 to 57, something like that, 58 maybe.
All right. Obviously, we mentioned it in the interview just before this, but there are some really big spotted bass that live in Lanier. Like
supposedly.
5 and 6 pounders, right?
I'm going with supposedly.
You're not convinced yet.
No, I know we're going to see them. I mean, when we had the championship here in the summer, I mean, we've seen lots of 4 and 5 pounders in August, so I can only imagine what's going to be caught in March. Well,
and the fact that this is it's a blueback herring fishery, so there's a lot of fish that get dialed in on those bluebacks and do weird things. Like they roam a lot. But there are some big largemouths in here, so it wouldn't be uncommon to come across some of them roaming around in this bottom portion of the lake. So anything you saw today that would say maybe we might see some good largemouth caught?
I never really got up close to the bank today.
Okay.
I tried to play the spotted bass game because I feel like that's the best chance to get a check. And
sure.
I was hoping to figure that out today where I could kind of guarantee myself a check, but we still got a little more work to do, I'm afraid. But I definitely think we'll see some big largemouth. I mean, it's March in Georgia. There's going to be some big largemouth.
For sure.
Caught. There might not be a lot of them, but there's going to be some caught.
Well, and again, we're only 1 day in, and it's not like you have a ton of experience out here on Lanier, but to me, this fishery seems like something that really could kind of suit well with you in terms of being able to run around. You can hit a lot of spots throughout the course of the day or get dialed in on a pattern, whether it's a type of structure they're relating to or a bank or something like that. Do you think that's how this event will shake down?
Yeah, I think so, which, I mean, I'm hoping to find a group of fish. I mean, but being a herring lake, I don't know that, like if you take my history from Hartwell pre-spawn, it's not very good. Right. I mean, if they're not,
I didn't want to say anything.
If they're not up shallow on a herring lake for me, I don't tend to do very well. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm going to just call it stupid herring. That's what we're going to call it, stupid herring.
Well, like you said, there are still 2 days for you to get out there and search them out. Now, the one thing I do want to ask you is for the folks watching this that are going to be playing fantasy fishing.
Yeah.
Who would you want on your squad? Give me 3 guys that you would want on your squad this week.
And pre-spawn, you gotta take the local boys. JJ.
Yep, Jason Johnson.
Rob Jordan. I mean, there's 4 or 5 guys that are chomping at the bit for this tournament that probably not even gonna practice.
For sure, for sure.
I mean, but just because it is such a spot-specific type deal for those big spots, I mean, they set up here and they know where they sit, and I feel like this is gonna play right into their hands, especially with the cold weather coming in toward the middle of the week. I think it's gonna play right into their hands.
All right. Thrift saying locals. I would also not count out Bryan Thrift if you're watching this, because I mean,
find some
you're really good at not catching them, and then all of a sudden we'll see you with 25 pounds. So with that, Bryan, we'll let you go get some dinner. You got 2 more days. Good luck, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.